Joining us right now, we have Democratic Senator of Maryland, Ben Cardin. Senator, awfully good to see you again, sir. And let's get to the big question. Do you expect Kamala Harris will become the next president of the United States? And if so, what are you seeing that makes you believe it?
Well, Alex, it's good to be with you. Yes, I do believe the vice president will win the presidency and it'll be President Harris-elect come later this week. What gives me hope is I see the energy that's on the ground. I've been in other states. In my own state of Maryland, we have an interesting race for Senate, and I can see the energy levels here and the commitment levels and the ground game that's being waged on behalf of Vice President Harris. So it gives me a great deal of confidence that the voters are going to elect the vice president as our next president.
Senator, you are the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. So if you're right and Kamala Harris becomes the next president, whether it's the evolving situation in Ukraine, the ongoing unrest in the Middle East, how would you, sir, advise her to try and calm these conflicts in ways perhaps the Biden administration has not been able to?
Well, Vice President Harris is really steeped in knowledge on both what's going on in Ukraine and what's going on in the Middle East. I've already had conversations with her in regards to both of these areas. In regards to Ukraine, we've got to stand up against Mr. Putin and his aggression. We've got to stand with Ukraine. They're the front line of our fight to preserve democratic states. We can't let a country take territory through force, and that would not end with Ukraine, and we know that. In regards to the Middle East, we've got to find a path forward for peace in the Middle East, and that means security and isolating Iran and the threat of Iran and its proxies, working with our partners in the region so that the Palestinians and the Israelis can live side by side in peace. And I think the Vice President understands this, has a game plan. I expect you're going to see progress on both Ukraine and on the Middle East under a Harris administration.
Okay. I know that you just wrote an op-ed for MSNBC.com, and in it you say that Trump calls himself a political prisoner. That's an insult to these real heroes. Tell me what inspired you to publish this message.
Well, it really is an affront. I saw him try to raise money off the fact that he claims that he's a political prisoner. These human rights defenders globally that put their lives on the line in order to fight for democracy in their country, they have risked their lives. I met one, I know one very well, Vladimir Kara-Murza. I was with him this past week, who was poisoned twice by Mr. Putin and was imprisoned, thought he would die in the Russian prisons just for opposing the war in Ukraine, in Russia. He was released due to the work of the Biden-Harris administration. It's an affront to what they stand for, fighting for the human rights of people of their country. President Trump was tried under an independent judicial system and convicted by his peers in a jury trial. And to compare what he's going through with what these human rights defenders that have been political prisoners around the world is just an affront to the decency and courage of these individuals.
Well said. Let's move to the Democrats, who are staring down a fierce battle to keep control of the Senate with critical races spread out across this country. We know, sir, that you're retiring, but what are the stakes for your party? What happens if Republicans take over the Senate, including control of key committees like yours?
Well, I'm very hopeful that Democrats will maintain control of the United States Senate, and we're going to do our job in Maryland with the election of Angela Alsobrooks. So I know we have competitive races. We also have some of the Republicans that are up for election that we hope to make some progress on it. Make no mistake about it, the control of the Senate is the ability to control the agenda of the United States Senate. And we saw under Republican control what they did in regards to President Obama's judicial selections, including Merrick Garland not even getting a vote in the United States Senate for the Supreme Court. So we know what's at stake, and I think the people of this country knows what's at stake. And if you believe in the Democratic agenda, if you want President Harris to be able to get her agenda through, we also need to keep control of the United States Senate.
And I'm sure you've been following all these races very closely, but which of your colleagues that's now locked in tight races do you think will end up surprising us most on election night? Is there a name that sticks out for you?
Well, I think we have some of our challengers. What's happening in Texas, what's happening in Florida, what's happening in some of the other states. I think you're going to see some surprises there. I think our Democratic incumbents are going to do well. I know they have some very tough races, but we're optimistic. We've all been working together to make sure that all of our incumbents win, and perhaps we can pick up a seat or two.
Okay, and so that means Allred, Mucarsel Powell, you're looking at specifically that have a good shot. Is there a particular Democratic senator that you're most concerned for due to a very competitive race?
Well, obviously, we recognize that Jon Tester has a really tough race in Montana. We also recognize Ohio is a tough state for Sherrod Brown. We know Tammy Baldwin's running a great campaign in Wisconsin, but that's a tough state. Jackie Rosen in Nevada. These are states that we recognize. Of course, Bob Casey in the key state of Pennsylvania. These are all challenging races. We think we have the right candidates, and we think we have the right message, and we're optimistic we can win these races.
All right. Well, Senator Cardin, I want to thank you not only for your time today, but also for your 18 years, over 3 terms serving in the U.S. Senate. Well done, sir, and I've enjoyed talking with you, I think, pretty much throughout all 18 of them. So thank you so much for all that. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Alex. It's always good to be with you, and thanks for what you do.
Thank you.